Ah, stay still, phone. There we go. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here and stare at myself for a minute. I don't know if I anticipate anybody actually coming into this room while I'm live. Still not here. I don't know if I have followers like that. I don't know. I don't know if I've got a captive enough audience yet to draw anybody in when I'm live. Let's see. Change that. Let's see what happens. There's a thumbs up. Did I accidentally do that myself? I don't know. I'm on live chat. Yeah. Got it. Barry Gibson, good evening to you. I'm just going live straight up out of boredom. If you hear the click, 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 click in the background, sitting on the side of the road again. I had a set of Love's Recap tires put on my drives back in June. I got 4 out of the 8 replaced. 4 were still in really good shape. I got 4 of the ones that weren't in great shape replaced. And since June, we have now had 3 out of those 4 explode. I'm sitting over here in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, with another blowout here. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me talking. Is my voice coming through, or is that? I don't know if my mic's covered up there or not. I'm just sitting here on the side of the road waiting on the Love's truck to come hopefully repair my tire under warranty. They say they honor warranties on their recaps. I need them to. They'll still charge you labor. I'm 7 miles from their Jasper, Tennessee location. Only 7 miles. I've now been here for 2 hours and 45 minutes. They said it would be 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours for them to be able to show up here 7 miles away to replace a warranted tire, which I have a feeling they're going to try and weasel their way out of honoring the warranty here somehow or another. Can y'all hear it? Is my talking showing up? Is my mic covered up? Can you hear me at all? I can't tell. I'm not sure what's going on. I see you typing there, Barry. Not doing too great at the moment. Flat tire again. Yeah. Complete exploded tire. The tread came blowing off of it again. I hadn't even got the other mud flap replaced from the last blowout yet, and this one exploded and completely took the hanger and the flap and everything with it again. So we're literally just sitting on the side of the highway right now. I got too heavy of a load and too mangled of a tire to limp it anywhere. That's why I'm waiting on them to come do the road call, even though I'm only 7 miles away. I'm not impressed with their recap tires. I know it's always a gamble to buy recaps, but when you're balling on a budget, you do what you got to do, and they were a pretty good deal, and they claimed to really have a good warranty that they backed and everything, so that's what I had to do at the time. And it's bitten me in the ass 3 times since then so far. And, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're up to just shy of 3 hours now. It says my clock says I've been sitting here for 2 hours and 51 minutes, and yeah, that's about right. There may be another 5 minutes before I change it over. I'm not sure, but yeah, we're right up on 3 hours of sitting here waiting on a truck stop to send out a truck from 7 miles away. 7 miles. I can't remember the last time I went live on this thing. It's probably been back when I was doing music stuff. I can't remember. Or it may go all the way back to when I was driving for RTI as a lease purchase way back when. I'm not sure. It's been a hot minute. Been a hot minute. I see Barry Gibson is in here. Who is it? It says there's 2 people. Who is the other person? Can I click this little thing? Does it tell me? Does it tell me? No, it doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me. I don't know who the other person is in here. I don't know. Not very informative here, this technology. Is there a button I can push to show me who's in here? I don't know. I don't guess I need to worry that much about it. We're just talking. We're just chatting it up. I'm just mainly doing this to vent and talk and not sit here and be bored and drown in my thoughts. You know what I mean? I've just been sitting here and nothing to do. I can't talk. About found the end of the internet and the end of Facebook, sitting here scrolling. I got bored of listening to stuff. I had a little game on my phone. I got bored of it real quick. Not much to do on the side of the highway. Ironically, the last blowout I had was hauling this same load to the same place about 20 miles further up the road from right here where I sit. I was just getting into Scottsboro, Alabama. I guess it's closer to 30 miles, 25 to 30 miles, but I was just getting into Scottsboro, Alabama last time. Just right up this exact same highway, same load, roughly the same weight. Between all these heavy garbage loads we carry and those recap tires, that is not a good match. That is not a good match. I've had blowouts on their trailers too. The trailers belong to the company and they pay for the trailer tires, and these heavy loads cause a lot of havoc on those too. It's all heavy stuff all the time. It's like we're always over 40,000 pounds, with rare exceptions it seems, and a lot of the ones over 40,000 are above 42, getting into the 43, 44, and 45,000 pound range. They've been spitting some of those Coca-Cola loads out at us at 45,000. This recycled paper load is at 43 and a half, so we're running heavy. It's a wonder all the tires don't explode. Knock on wood, of the 8 drive tires I had on here when I got this truck, the 4 I didn't change out, those things are pretty well still hanging tough in there. If I had some wood to knock on, I'd knock on it. But yeah, there's a definite difference in recaps and like virgin rubber tires. That is for sure. Yeah, I am safe. I wasn't really going that fast. We were getting close to where I knew there was a red light coming up on this highway here, so I was starting to slow down a little bit. But I had the windows on both sides rolled part way down, and oh man, you talking about sounding like a cannon going off, man. That tire really let loose. I mean, it got some bass in its voice. You know, you ever hear people to tell people, like, put some bass in your voice, son? That tire back there, it had some bass in its voice. Let me tell you about that. It exploded good. It's mangled back there and wrapped around the wheel and completely. I got the mud flaps. I got the hanger that inserts into the little collar back there, and it completely blew it off the hanger. It snapped the hanger in half again. The last 2 have done that, so I got to find myself 2 hangers and 2 mud flaps too. I can get by without them while I'm pulling the trailer, but I'm going to need those things. I don't run bobtail very often, but I need to get them replaced nonetheless. But yeah, both of these last 2 tires have been very violent explosions that have just completely shattered the hanger and blown them off the truck completely. And there was a couple of people. There was somebody right directly behind me and right directly beside me. I was in the right-hand lane, so somebody was beside me on the left. So it luckily didn't explode right there beside anybody's window or anything like that. But I'm sure it scared the crap out of them, though. I mean, it was a thud. It was a huge thud. Yeah, the hot asphalt on top of the recap and this heavy load. The last time it happened, that was one of them hot days. It had been like, you know, well above 90 degrees all day long, and yeah, it was that one blew really violently. On the hot weather was definitely a contributor to that. And I had one a couple of months ago on their trailer tire out in Georgia, and it had been hot for days. It was back in the heat of the summer, and it exploded the trailer tire. I think I got video of that on one of my videos there, and that guy came to change that out, and I had a heavy Coca-Cola load on there, and he kept having to set the thing back down and put blocks under. He was having to put stuff under the jack because it was like sinking down into the hot asphalt there. It left a big square mark in there where he had to put a jack stand under it and everything. The jack stand was squeezing off into the asphalt. It's amazing what hot asphalt and weight, you know. Roads aren't as hard as you think they are when they get that hot. That's why, you see all these red lights and busy high traffic truck areas, and you got the big dipped grooves at the red light and stuff. You mentioned it. Yeah, at least it's not hot right now. It's pretty. What am I showing? My truck thermometer is showing 63 degrees out right now, so it's real nice and comfortable, at least. I got the truck running right now just because I got all my. It's dark, and I'm sitting about 8 inches from the white line on the 4-lane highway here. I'm about 50, 75 yards from the red light, so people half the time are coming to a slowdown for the red light, and the other half the time they're blowing by, 70 miles an hour and not, just making the truck rock and shake and everything. So I've been in way unsafer spots, but I've definitely been in much safer spots. It's never good to be stuck on the side of the road. That is for sure. Who are my other two folks in here? That is showing 3 people, which is about 3 more than I thought I'd have in here. I know who one of the people is. Who be the other 2 people on there? Identify yourself. Who is that? Is that Jan? Well, hello to you too. Hi. How you doing? What's up with you? Is that Yon or Jan? I mean, if that's spelled like John, but with a Y, so I'm guessing Jan. I don't know. Yeah. So what's happening with you guys out there? What you up to tonight? Obviously not sitting on the side of the highway like I am. I was just a couple more days, and I'd had a couple of days off for Thanksgiving and everything, and that tire had other ideas. I just hope they don't pull any shenanigans here. So we're already going to be, I guess their 3 to 4 hour guess to get here is going to be about right. And hopefully they don't pull any crap about not warrantying that tire when they get here, because I really don't feel like shelling that money out to them, especially now that 3 out of those 4 have exploded. It's like, I thought somebody got to be paying me at this point for the troubles. Fred Oaks there. How's it going there? We are over here in I got my multiple personalities. I'm saying we. I got so used to the beginning to having my lady and the dog in here for a while that I just instinctively say we. But I am over here in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Just not too far from the Alabama state line, not too far away from my home in Chattanooga, and only 7 miles from the truck stop that's sending the repair truck that claims it would take 3 to 4 hours to get here, because loves Speedco, best service in the game. Yeah. Let's see. Jan says, I have been in trucking school and watching videos, and you were in my news feed. Well, fantastic. I thank you, YouTube, for dropping me a little bit of clout in the algorithm there. We found somebody that's fresh getting into the industry, seeing all the ins and outs and all the terribleness of this. Don't buy a truck yet, sir. Let the company go company driver and stay company driver for quite some time. Let them pay for all this crap that I'm about to have to pay for here. Yeah. Let me see. Had to plug in the phone. Sorry about that, y'all. Got the phone standing upright. I was down to 15% charge there. It was getting to go. It was getting ready to crash out on me. It was getting ready to shut down. That phone was like, I'm tired of your ugly face and your stupid voice. Get off my camera. Yeah. But been in trucking school. Are you still in trucking school? Are you just now finishing up? What's your story with that? Yeah, Fred, those blowouts are something else when they happen. That one, man, it sounded like a bass drop over a amphitheater PA or something a minute ago, or it's been almost 3 hours now, but when that went off, I had the windows rolled partially down, and not the first time I've heard that, obviously, but it still shocks me every time just how loud it is. You can hear it real good on the trailer, but when it happens on the tractor like it did this time, it's like it makes you jump. Riding beside one of those I've fortunately never been in a car next to a truck when that happens. I've seen them from a distance many times, and I've had people next to me when mine have blown, and I don't want any of that. And those pieces of tread, when they come off, they'll go through windows. they'll blast a cannonball-sized dent in the side of the car. They'll flatten your tire if you run them over right and everything. And you don't want to. There's a reason why any trucker will tell you, if you can avoid it, don't ever, going around and passing's one thing. Try not to ever ride beside the drives or the trailer tires on a truck, because when they go. Obviously, you learn from experience there. Oh, man. Yeah, Barry, I'm planning on going home. It looks like they're going to keep me running short and around the area here. This run I'm doing, it's only about 150 miles from home. And then I was going to go run up outside of Nashville to Kingston Springs, Tennessee, to grab another load, turn around, coming right back to the same place that I'm delivering to tonight. I was hoping to get this one done tonight and get the other one done tomorrow and move on to something else. Now I'm going to have to do them both tomorrow because my hours are going to run out sitting here waiting on this 3 to 4 hour repair service guy that's only 7 miles away. No fun. Jan, do you have a job lined up? You got something picked out that you're going to do? Do you know what you're going to be doing once you get your test out of the way? Are you confident? Are you going to knock it out the first time and kick its ass and come right out the gate swinging? Are you going to get it done? I bet you do. It's not that bad. That's been so long since I've done that. It was February of 2005 when I took my first job with Star Transportation out of Nashville, Tennessee. I finished up the trucking school in January of 2005, so I am closing in on 19 years since I got my CDL, so I am officially turning into one of the old farts out here on the road. I am one of the grumpy old fools out here that has seen a lot of things, experienced a lot of things, and has had about enough of it. But I've got this truck now, kind of married to it, can't really get out at the moment. Just got to ride it out for a while and make the best of it. That's why I like getting on here. I do these videos on here basically simply to give people an insight of what it's like out here, and also it's free therapy for me. I get to talk. Sometimes people listen. Sometimes people get in the comments and have a discussion with me. I get to get this junk off my mind. On a bad day like this, I haven't been live on here in forever. No. It's like, I'll go live, I'm bored. We'll just go have some of that, some of that old diarrhea of the mouth. We'll just free flow some words. We'll just have some of that talk therapy and get it off my mind. Maybe I'll feel better before I have to whip out my credit card and fork over some more of that money that I haven't earned yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you, Fred. I will absolutely stay grumpy. I'm getting to the age where it's expected of me, and I don't want to disappoint anybody. Yeah. I'd rather be grumpy back on stage. I don't want to be grumpy on stage. I want to be happy on stage. That's where I'd be happy. But until I get back on stage, I'm going to stay grumpy. Yes, I am. Truck driving has a way of keeping that in me. Appreciate you popping in here for a moment, though, sir. Always good to see anybody popping here. I thought I would have the grand sum total of still 0 showing up there, people in here, so I'm glad anybody stopped in, and I'm glad any of you decided to talk at me here. Yeah. It's not an exciting life in here right now. Like I said, I'm about 50 yards from 12th Street, from the red light at 12th Street in Greater Metropolitan South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And if you've ever been through South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, you'll know just how Greater Metropolitan it is over here. Yeah, huge place. If you lift your feet up going through, you'll miss it altogether. Blink and you'll miss it. Yeah, one of those places. Not a bad little town, though. I got the Lodge Cast Iron Skillet Factory over here. Ever had your wife threaten to hit you over the head with a skillet? Well, if she does it, and she loves cast iron, it probably came from right over here across this ditch from me over here, because that's where the Lodge Cast Iron place is over here. And, you can get you one of them big heavy hitters over there. You can brain somebody with those things. Yeah. So just think about this video. If any of y'all got a lady that threatens to whop you in the head with a frying pan and it's cast iron, remember me, because it's right there outside my window, that factory where it came from. Yeah. How many years of service have you been driving? I got my CDL in February. Coming up will be 19 years since I got my CDL. I've been in and out of it a couple of times doing various things, various projects, various jobs, doing music and all kinds of stuff. But for the majority of that 19 years, the bigger part of that 19 years, I have been doing it. I've got a lot of miles out here. I've got a lot of days away from home out of here. I've got a lot of time invested, a lot of time spent, a lot of miles covered. But I have held a CDL for 19 years. I haven't been truck driving constantly for that whole entire time, but for the majority of that time, I've been doing it. So definitely have earned. I'm not quite there, but I'm closing in on knocking on the door of earning old fart status out here. There's so many new drivers. There's not a lot of drivers that have been at it for a long time with the rapid pace that this industry is changing. A lot of people have been getting out and are in the process of getting out. And so those guys that have been doing it for 30, 40, 45 years, a lot of those guys are getting gone. So guys like me that are closing in, that are in the 15, 20 year range, we're becoming the old timers out here, I can barely recognize this industry from when I got in it in 05, so I can't imagine what those guys that had been in since the 60s or 70s think about it. But, even guys that have been in since the 80s or early 90s, there's nothing the same out here anymore. It's a real unforgiving industry. It really is. Oh, no need to thank me for my service. I tell you that I don't know what to think when so I appreciate you saying that, but I suppose we can save that for our military guys there. It's like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing anything noble out here. I feel like I'm just doing like everybody else, trying to get my paycheck. That's OTR stuff. It does come with it is a very thankless job, I'll tell you that. Nobody much cares about your over-the-road truck drivers out here, with very few exceptions. So I appreciate you, thanking me or anybody else for being out here and doing it. But you're getting ready to be out there yourself. You'll find out. I don't know if you're planning on going and doing over the road, or if you're going to be, got you a local gig lined up. I don't know, whatever. You'll see what we mean. It's not the worst thing in the world a person can do. I'm not trying to make it sound awful, like you're going to have a miserable time. You may love it to death. Some people love it to death. I used to love it to death, but the sparkle is surely disappearing off the diamond for me. But now that I operate my own truck, I'm kind of, again, like I said, I'm married to it for a while. I gotta ride it out for a little while. I gotta deal with days like this when I'm stuck on the side of the road with the blown out tire, waiting on the tire service guy to get here 4 hours later from 7 miles away. Lee Benson did 52 years. You've been out for 7 years. 52 years, sir. I tip my hat to you for riding it out that long, for sure. And if you got out 7 years ago, you got out, you saw what was happening to this industry, and you've seen the whole evolution of this industry if you did 52 years of it. So it's even crazier and more ridiculous since you got out, sir. I can tell you that. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I speak on how rapidly changing it has been, and it's in high gear even from what it was on changing. So I salute you for making it for 52 years out here, and I also don't blame you a bit for dipping out when you did. I'm sure that was well deserved after 52 years. So that's rare to see anybody do anything for that long anymore. So yeah, thumbs up to you for riding that out for that long. That's cool. You saw a lot of miles, a lot of changes, a lot of things out here. That's for sure. The trucking industry is being purged, and we haven't seen the worst yet. No, sir, we have not seen the worst yet. I don't know what's going to happen. This company I've got this truck leased on to, for any negatives that come along with it, and there have been a pretty good bit so far. I will say they have a reasonable amount of contracted freight, so for a lot of the struggles I'm having with them, I at least have a little bit of a shield against just strictly running this horrible spot market stuff. It's when they are able to keep me running really solid, a lot of their stuff is paying way, way, way better than what the spot market load board freight is doing. So I've got that to my advantage, which is I keep being so plagued with tires and mechanical issues and stuff like that, and you know, and the load planning, it hasn't been always perfect. So, and there's been that, so I've had some some shorter weeks that really shouldn't have been shorter. But you are correct, it's not it's not done being bad yet. I had to dip in. They had to dip into the spot market board for me last week, and it was ugly out there. It was, when I signed on to them, I let go of being leased on with the company that I originally signed this truck on with, and I was running 100% spot market load board freight with JRV Logistics when I was with them, and they were good at keeping my wheels turning, but I was burning the absolute rubber off of the wheels on mileage because the rates on the market were so low, and it just was not really all that sustainable. Yeah, that spot market, the freight is ugly right now. We're going into the holiday season, and a lot of the trucking forums and boards I look at it and everything, I said it's not really doing hot in any segment of trucking right now. I mean, people eat. There's always, if you can deal with the headaches of it, there's always a little bit more stability in the reefer, doing the refrigerated stuff. But that comes with a whole other set of headaches. And flatbed, from what I understand, is pretty down. The economy is not doing the best ever right now, kind of in a recessed state. That directly affects almost everything on the flatbed stuff, so that's, the whole thing's a mess. I was real dangerously close. When I signed on to BWI here, I had another company I was looking at signing on in the entertainment segment. Kind of wish I'd done that, but it was going to come along with very much more lengthy stays away from home. And I wasn't quite ready to go back to being gone that long. We still got kids that aren't, I've got 2 kids and Aaron's got 2 daughters, and my oldest kid is in college, so we've kind of got that one, moved on and on the path of life. But my youngest one is still in high school. Aaron's daughters, her oldest is in high school, same age as my youngest, and her youngest is, she's the youngest one of the bunch. So we've still got school-age kids, and I just wasn't prepared to go out for, the weeks and weeks at a time that was going to go along with that. But man, it was going to be all lightweight freight. It was going to be a lot of getting paid and not necessarily driving all the time. It was going to be a lot of being parked and just being able to kind of, kick around and go see the sights and stuff and get paid pretty well for all your troubles. And I probably wouldn't have had that guy try to rip the side of my truck off at the Pilot, a month or 2 back, being in that. I wouldn't have been spending much time sleeping at truck stops and stuff like I am now. So that's a consistent industry. The entertainment industry is consistent if you can get your way into that. So I kind of wish I'd have done that. It's I don't know. Mr. Leatherman, I'm sitting on the side of the road in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, about 50 yards from the 12th Street red light with another catastrophic tire failure. A set of Love's recaps that I bought back in June. I bought 4 of them. I had 4 good tires, 4 that were about done for. And the 4 I didn't replace are still going strong. If I, again, knock on wood, if I can find any. the 4 Loves recaps. 3 out of 4 of those have now exploded on me. This was number 3 a couple hours ago there. And these guys have probably heard me say it 3 or 4 times, but I'm on the side of the road waiting on Loves to get here. They're only about 7 miles away from here. Tire was too mangled and my load is too heavy to limp it back the 7 miles. So I got to wait for roadside service to see if they're going to come warranty this tire. The hiccup is that 7 miles, they said I was on a 3 to 4 hour wait. We are now up into almost the 3.5 hour range here. Is that? No, that's still not. So it looks like they're going to ride it out to the bitter end of that 4 hour time frame there. But yeah, so to answer that question, we just sitting on the side of the road twiddling our thumbs. I got bored enough. I was like, I ain't been live on here in a minute. Let's just go purge the thoughts and talk and see if anybody chimes in here. Luckily, some of you fine folks hopped in here and chatted it up with me. So you're letting me get my... Y'all are much cheaper than $100 an hour therapist. So thank y'all for sitting here and letting me vent and listen. Yeah, I'm using y'all right now. Yeah, y'all are my doctors right now. What do you say here? Yeah, I hope they get... I wish they would get to me soon. I'm about to... Yeah, my hours are about to expire for the evening, so I'm gonna have to finagle my way up to a parking spot up here on personal conveyance once they get this tire changed. And I should have already been in Cherokee, Alabama. I should be sitting in their dock right now, waiting for... Yeah, I didn't even put a video up. The video up Friday I'd started. I'm going back to the same place I was at Friday where I had to wait 5.5 hours for them to unload me. Had the same circle. I was going there and then going to go to Kingston Springs, Tennessee, go back there, and then go back home. And they ended up holding me for 5.5 hours. And we're trying to get there this evening to unload and then do Kingston Springs again tomorrow. Now we got to do both of them tomorrow. That's not going awesome. Not going awesome. Lost one in a firefight. What in the world? I believe I believe our buddy Lee Benson here's got stories we need to hear. We're gonna have to get him to go live sometimes. I need to hear all about the lost one in a firefight here. That got me distracted reading it. I was like, oh boy, we got some action stories going on in here. Yeah, cool. Man. I wish they'd hurry up because I'm tired of hearing my 4-way flashers go off. I've been listening to that click for 3 hours and 20 minutes. Man, I'll tell you what, not that, not condoning illegal driving or anything, but right now is one of them times when I sure do miss them old paper logs. I got that stupid electronic babysitter in here. Once they come change this tire, if I was still on paper logs, you can bet I'd still be delivering that load in Cherokee, Alabama tonight. There ain't no doubt about that. I'm not tired. I got all kinds of life left in me for the evening, but electronic babysitter and our buddy Big Brother the government says in 20 minutes that I'm officially too tired to drive for the rest of the night and I need to take a 10-hour break. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can finagle some kind of something out of the split sleeper berth rule or something. I don't know. If I was on paper log, the second they let this jack down, I'd be back on my way to Cherokee, Alabama. I can assure y'all that. Oh, man. Was running fuel and ammo. You do have some stories. You lost one in a firefight, hauling fuel and ammo. Wow. That's some solid dollars there, Mr. Benson. And that is an adventurous story for sure. That is an adventurous story. Were you running over here, or were you like doing contractor work overseas? Was that like? I'm curious about this story here. That is fascinating stuff. Oh man, yeah, I miss the paper logs. I do. They had their disadvantages. Having these electronic logs, it's kind of cured the problem of ever having dispatchers call you up on the phone and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you help us out? Because you really can't. It kind of cured that problem, but it took a lot of flexibility away. And it wasn't supposed to be flexible, but if you knew what you were doing, paper logs were very flexible, as everybody else, as y'all do know. So all the companies I was looking, I wasn't committed and ready to go full owner. I didn't want to go full independent and run my own authority yet or anything. So, you know, with shopping for companies to lease onto, nearly every one of them now, with the exception of a few, they all want the trucks that are less than 10 years old or less, that are compatible with, or what, how many ever years it is, that are compatible with ELDs. So I had to shop for a truck with an ELD if I wanted to lease on with anybody. It's a smart man would go back and buy a ELD exempt truck and just get my own operating authority. But then again, as bad as the market is right now, I'm about to lose my... What is happening here, y'all? Give me one moment. I'm not... Man. I'm having all kinds of problems with my phone charger here. It is not wanting to... There we go. Maybe that'll stay now. There we go. Now we got juice. Now we're cooking with fire. I had the phone charger plugged in. I got down to 15% and plugged it in, and then it just blinked and told me I was down to 5, and had a hiccup on my charger back there. Had a hiccup in my charger. Not cool. It almost shut me down before I was ready to be shut down. How dare you, Modern Electronics. We're now up to 3 hours and 25 minutes. 3 hours and 25 minutes. Still don't see him. For a truck stop, a service call from a shop 7 miles away. This is what you get with Speedco and Loves. You would think that they would give you a little more help when the tire that blew that you bought from them in the first place. You think you'd get a little bit of, you think you'd get a step or two up the ladder there, a little bit of priority, since you're a roadside call sitting on the side of the road and it's a tire they sold you that wasn't worth a crap. 3 out of 4 of them. I'm waiting, I assume the 4th one is just a ticking time bomb at this point. So I guess the bad thing is, I just thought about it. Yeah, the bad thing is I got that 4th one that I guess is a ticking time bomb. The one there, I'm about to have the one that just blew out replaced with another one of them. A man needs to get a pile of money made real soon so he can get a new set of 8 Virgin drives here and get out from, quit playing with these fools with their junk over there. Man, yeah. Let me see. Iraq 07. Thank you, Mr. Barry Gibson there. I appreciate you popping in. You have a good night yourself there. I appreciate you always chiming in and talking and jumping in and chatting it up. Have a good night. Take care of yourself as well. And Mr. Lee Benson, Iraq in 07. So yeah, you were over there. Yeah, you were over there doing the real man's trucking over there. Yeah. You've I suppose in 52 years and having been over there and done that, there's not really much we can say that you probably have not seen in your time as a truck driver, I would guess. Cool. I can only imagine the stories you've got from over here, much less from over there. Man, I reckon 07. That was you definitely deserved every bit of that 380 that you grossed out in 18 months there. That is for sure. Probably deserved a lot more than that for just even taking the plane ride over there. Oh man, I don't know about that. That was a constant adventure, just waking up in the morning, just figuring out what you were going to do every day, I guess. Man, I never do I never do have these issues next to anything good where I can walk over and get a bucket of chicken McNuggets or anything. It's always got to be on the side of the road in between places here. Like why couldn't it explode a mile or two back, or back there closer to the Sonic, where I could walk across the street over there by the they got that Sonic over there right as you start popping into town next to the bridge over there. I'm like, couldn't the tire have exploded back there? Why does it have to be up here where there's nothing? Last time when I was coming through here on this exact same trip last month, when I exact same load going to the exact same place, it was about 20-25 miles further up the road, I blew it just on the outside of Scottsboro, Alabama, almost to town. Couldn't blow it close to anything good. Luckily, I found a local shop there that really helped me out. The Loves was going to be like an all-day affair, and they were going to charge a massive amount of money to make the road call that far out. And I found a truck repair shop that was also a trucking company, and they fixed me up with a good used tire that they had been stashing back, for their own personal use. And they mounted and put on a used tire for me for $100, and it's a better tire than all the other ones I had on there. I'm like, man, I'm going to y'all got any more of them? If y'all are listening, y'all got any more of them $100 tires that's better than the ones I've got on here? I mean, it was like a really good tire with nearly every bit of the tread left on it. I mean, they mounted it and everything for $100. It's like, I guess that could have been a lot worse. Loves was going to ring me up for a massive road service call just because it was far enough out, and the labor and everything. They're still going to ring me up this time, but at least I'm only a handful of miles out instead of like 30 miles. So there's that. I don't know. I don't want to give Loves my credit card. I don't want them to have any more of my money. They've taken too much this year. Way too much. Yeah, it was an awesome deal. Man, I wish I mentioned them on a video a while back. I wish I could think of the company, but they're right outside of Scottsboro, Alabama. They're over close to the Coca-Cola plant over there, but Coca-Cola warehouse. But it's a small trucking company, but they also run a repair shop there. They're not a tire shop by any means. They had stuff from their own personal inventory that they were saving back, and they just, without having to or really having any reason to, they helped me out, and I did very much appreciate that. I got on Google and gave them a huge amount of praise and thank yous for helping a man out, because that was going to be multi hundreds of bucks for Loves to come out and do what they were going to do. I'm sorry asses. I'm really annoyed at them about this, and I know it's you're taking a gamble buying recaps, but at the time, that was like, I got these back in June. I'd only had this operation going for a couple of months, and I needed the tires. I might have been going for 3 months, 2.5, 3 months, something like that. But if you followed my saga, I had a breakdown on my very first trip as soon as I got this truck, and I've been fighting to catch up ever since. So when it got to the point of me needing those 4 drive tires back there, Loves had a very good deal on what they advertise as very high quality, very factory backed, well warranty backed recaps. Not a huge fan of recaps, but it's one of them beggars can't be choosers situations, and you gotta have tires. You can't drive the truck without tires. So I got a good price on them, as good as I could afford to pay at the time, and that's just the reality of the situation. Would I like to have a set of the best high-end premium drive tires that money could buy? Of course I would. Couldn't at the time though. I was still trying to catch up. I burned most of my reserves up, and right out of the gate on the first trip. It hurt, so I wasn't able to keep up some things on the truck with the quality of and the quality that I would have liked to have done. Just gotta do what you gotta do, and I am 3 out of 4 tires in to paying for having to do what I had to do, and going the cheap way out. Just all these heavy loads we pull really haven't helped either, though. It's just constant heavy loads. So there is what it is. All I can do is get it taken care of and get back up and do it again tomorrow. Get one day closer. Every day that I keep the operation going is one day closer to being done with it all together. I just gotta look at it that way. Just gotta grin and bear it and keep on going. I have persevered this far. I've overcome a whole crap load of mechanical obstacles and stuff since I stuck this truck out on the road, and it's not been pretty, it's not been easy, but I've hung in there, and we're in the middle of a real down period for trucking, and I hope to continue to hang in there. This market, all this stuff is eventually going to come back. It's going to be good again at some point. I don't know when. It's not going to be next week. It's not going to be next month. Probably not going to be 2-3 months from now, but eventually it will come back. And I'd like to be one of the survivors on the other side, that makes it through, when the stuff comes back. That's yeah, Ian, that's what I'm saying. I'm really, against all odds, I keep hanging on. I'm scared to death there's going to be a catastrophic failure of some sort hiding around the corner at any time now, but I've weathered many storms, many obstacles in these, since I put this truck on the road earlier in the year, and I'd like to be one of the ones still standing, later on this next year when it all comes back and the money's there again. Maybe, if I can hang on until then and the money really comes back strong again, we get another hot market like they had, after COVID and everything. There was big money in it there for a while. I wasn't in as an owner-operator at that time, but there was huge money there for a while. If I can hold out, if that comes back around again and I can hold out till then, we might have a chance of buying myself out of this sooner or later, or just outright paying the truck off, and having options to do what I want. In an ideal world, I'd cash out and pay this sucker off, register it as an RV, and just use it for personal use and go figure out what my next adventure in life is. We'll figure out what that is at some point. I don't know, but I know this industry is wearing a hole in my nerves and my mental well-being. I mean, it's like it's going to put me in the crazy house. It is absolutely going to do that. It's just between all the financial perils and mechanical issues and stuff like that, it's just plain flat out crazy out here now. The other new truck drivers now are crazy. It's absolute insanity out on the roads now with regular, pedestrian civilian drivers. I don't know what civilian, I don't know how to word that. You know what I mean? Your common everyday driving your car drivers out here. It's kind of scary to be out on the roads out here anymore. It's you're taking your life in your hands every time you step out on the road out here anymore. And you look around and see the quality of the truck drivers and stuff out here now. It's I hate to say it, but it's not real difficult to tell why some of these companies are trying so dang hard to push automated, driverless trucks out here. Man, there's not a real batch of awesomely skilled human beings coming into this industry anymore. They're not all bad. Don't get me wrong. You still got your good ones coming out here that's learning and trying to do this stuff the right way and treating it like a serious thing. But there's a lot that's not. There's a lot of just straight up yahoos out here, and it's scary to be around a lot of them in a lot of different ways other than just driving around them, man. There's just there's some unsavory characters out here. They're always, trucking has always attracted, kind of the interesting, it's always been a big draw to, kind of outcasts and outlaw types and everything. But used to, it was a different breed, different kind. There's just a lot of weird, and a lot of just people that don't grasp this stuff out here. It's like they're truck driver purely in the title and just in the most base form of having a CDL and just being able to make the truck go down the road. I'm never gonna, I will never pat myself on the back and say, hey guy, you're the number one trucker. Can't nobody do it better than you, because I know that's not true. That's not even close to the truth. But compared to some of what's coming into this industry now, I'm like, You know, I'm Cletus out of Smokey and the Bandit. I'm Jerry Reed's character. I am the truck driving dude compared to a lot of these guys that are getting in this industry now. Like again, I say, I know 19 years of having a CDL in my pocket coming up in February, and I still to this day, I don't know everything there is to know about this industry. I'm not the world champion truck driver, but man, oh man, some of these characters out here now, Mr. Lee Benson, if you're still watching on here, oh man, you've been out for 7 years, you don't even know what some of these guys are like out here now. It's wild. It's wild. It's a scary thing sometimes out here. Jan, you hear what I'm saying there. Don't be one of those guys. Take it serious. Try and be a responsible, good truck driver. Take care of yourself. Keep yourself clean. Try and be respectable. Try not to be a jackass out here. Do the right thing. Learn it properly. Be a good citizen out here. You know, just, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Let's see, in the end, I found a job running an end dump for FEMA. It was a good job most years, 4 months. Yeah, that don't sound bad at all, Lee. That don't sound bad at all. Yeah, not bad at all. That's not a good way. That's not a bad way to close your career out there. Not bad at all. Let's see, Mr. Letterman, I drove from 2000 to 15, OTR and local until 2019. Went back to furniture factory work and was considering going back. But no, it's not what it used to be. It's still not the worst thing you're ever going to do, but I've just had my fill of it. I'm just burned out on it. I really am. But I keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not the world champion truck. I'm not the best truck driver in the world. I'll never claim that. I'm pretty good at it though. I'm okay. I've held my own out here for a long time. And I try to be a good truck driver out here. I try not to be a nuisance to the public. There's a lot of nuisances to the public out here. Yeah. He said, Jan says, yeah, I don't like the flip-flops. Man, that is the footwear of the industry these days. I don't know. I can't quite pinpoint when that started, but every other truck driver you see, sweatpants, pajama pants, flip-flops. Like, no matter where they're at, out in the rain, I see dudes out here at the truck stops all the time. They'll have them slides or flip-flops on with socks, walking around out in the wet puddles in the parking lot at the truck stop. I'm like, man, that is so... I don't understand it. I've been known to kick my shoes off while I'm driving or wear some slip-ons or something like that when I'm driving, but never outside of the truck. I mean, to each their own, I suppose, but there's not a lot of professional-looking dudes out here, and I catch a lot of flack just for these things in my ears, and I've got this ring in my nose. But other than that, I throw on, I put on a clean shirt every day. I try to keep what appear to be clean pants on every day. Even if I wear them 2 days in a row, they don't look nasty. I keep myself washed up. I keep myself smelling good. I don't go out here looking like, for lack of better terms, just a street urchin ragamuffin. And there's a lot of them looking like that out here these days. I mean, a lot of the old school drivers from back in the day, they would have a problem with, my t-shirt and hat and, that stuff and everything. And I understand that, I can see that too. But it's gone way beyond just casual. Like, it's gone way beyond just jeans and t-shirt now. I mean, it's like people are rolling out of their bed in their pajamas and just, I mean, there's a lot of them they won't throw a hat on. They won't run a comb or a brush through their hair. They just hop, however they wake up, they'll throw a tank top on with their pajama pants, throw their slip-on slide shoes on, and go walk into shippers and receivers and stuff like that, smelling bad. And that's not just me being casting out stereotypes, man. I've met them, I've seen them. There's some smelly human beings out here, guys. When I drove for the now defunct, they went out of business a few years ago, Falcon Transport. They used to have these ugly blue and green international trucks they ran everywhere. They ran a lot of That's kind of why they ended up shutting down. I think they kind of had most of their eggs in one basket with running automotive stuff. And I used to have a route with them. I ran out of their terminal in Nashville. I'd go to North Carolina, pick up racks of parts, go to a Chrysler plant in Fenton, Missouri, right outside of St. Louis. Ironically, the company I drove for and the place I used to run the route to are both gone. That automotive plant's gone too, but I would run the parts to Fenton, swap those out for empty racks, and go back. Well, there was this other driver that was there almost every time I was. And the girls in the receiving little office there had a little sliding glass window and everything they'd have to open. They used to keep a can of Lysol by the window. And this guy was a regular there, and they kept it there mostly for him. Every time he would walk off, it was so disgusting. They would literally spray the area with Lysol. It was that bad. I had to be up near him a few times, and I could only imagine what the inside of that dude's truck smelled like. I mean, it was well beyond just a couple of days without a shower and getting a little bit of. It was like nasty filth stink, and there's a lot of that out here. There's a lot of that out here, and I'll never understand it. I don't get it. Yeah, you remember seeing Falcon trucks? Yeah, they were not the prettiest things in the world. They had the smaller regional size sleepers on them, and they just the worst color combo ever. That green and blue. And I ran for them. I ran that dedicated route for about a year with them, and my own personal best record for trucks. When I ran for them in 12 months, I was in, it was either 10 or 11 different trucks. They swapped me out. Every time the terminal I ran out of in Nashville was just kind of like a little satellite terminal, and they wouldn't do anything to them. They would only work on them at their terminals, like up in Ohio, or they had one in Youngstown, Ohio, one up there in, what's that place in Indiana, right by Chicago there, Gary, Indiana. They would only work on them in places like that. And I ran that route where I ended up back in Nashville, a couple of times every week. And anytime I had a problem with a truck, they wouldn't fix it there. They would just have another driver come pick it up and take it away. They would always say, oh, they'll bring it back, or we'll send you up there to swap back out and trade it and get it. And I finally had been there a little while and got my hands on one of their, what was a nearly brand new one at the time. And ran it for a few weeks. It had a problem. I was moved into it, had all my stuff and everything in there to it. And they were supposed to come, I don't remember what happened, but they had a driver before I got my stuff out of it. They were going to carry it up there to one of the shops and have it fixed, and they were supposed to route me back up there to pick it up a couple of weeks later. Well, they had a driver come get it, and I'd not gotten my stuff out of it yet, and they just took off with my stuff. And I got, CB radio, notebooks, DVDs, portable DVD player, MP3s, satellite radio, all this stuff. And they took off with it. And I was like, I let them know. I was like, hey, y'all took all my stuff, my blankets, everything, stuff like that. And they're like, well, we're going to be routing you back up there. We'll have them set the stuff aside just so it don't get gone. Never saw any of that stuff again. And yeah, I was in, it might have been 11. It was 10 for sure. But I was in a different truck nearly every single month when I drove for them. No surprise to me when they went out of business later on. They did a lot of automotive stuff, and they weren't the best of their drivers there. That was no, I never got any of that stuff back. Not a lick of it. Never saw any of it again. Never saw that truck again. They sent me up there to get it, and I technically laid eyes on it. We went up there and they were supposed to get it back to me, and they'd not finished working on it. They didn't put me back in it, and they sent me back to Nashville to ride, and they kept the truck I drove up there in. Ironically, I was carrying a truck up there to swap out. I was going to give them that truck back and get my other one that they took back, and they ended up not being done with the one I was going to get back, and sent me back with another driver to Nashville to get back in another old raggedy one. And it was an older lady driver they were putting me in there with, and she was going to drive all the way, and I needed to sleep And I was going to go back there and, kind of chill out on the top bunk she wasn't using there and take me a nap. And got to talking to her, and she had just come back from being out of the industry for a little while for having a rollover. I know things can happen, and I mean, you can have a rollover sitting still, literally. If you're parked on a weird, edge of a ditch or something, and the ground falls out, you're going to get run over, and the truck rolls over, you're going to get run over for it. But I don't know the circumstances of that, but there I was, lost another truck, having to ride back with another driver. I don't like riding with other drivers ever. And then to know I'm going to go try and take a nap on the way back to Nashville with somebody that just got back in the industry from having a rollover accident, Lord have mercy. Falcon Transport was something else. It was something else. Well, I got to tell you guys, we're about an hour in on this. I'm 3 hours and 50 minutes of sitting here. They said 3 to 4 hours. We're about to hit 4 hours, and I don't see any signs of life or anybody showing up, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a tired voice. So I'm going to call it quits. The handful of you that got in here and chatted it up with me, I do appreciate it. Your first truck was a 69 Mac. Yeah, you was out there doing that in those... Yeah, you was back there in them old tough truck days back then. Doing nothing real fast and doing it hot and doing it cold, depending on where you were at. Yeah. That's a 69 Mac, 235 horse with a 5-speed. Whew. This one was interesting. That was not the most comfortable trips from coast to coast there, I can imagine. I know a lot of people talk mess on these modern trucks and everything, and some of them do have some drawbacks. There is too much electrical stuff on them and everything, too much monitoring and everything, but there's a lot to be said for air ride seats, power steering, and comfortable air conditioning. There's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot to be said for the good old days as well, but there is something to be said for having modern conveniences and comforts to a certain extent. That is for sure. But I'm going to call her quits on here. My voice is getting a little bit tired, and I'm going to go over here and send out some cosmic vibes and tell this repair truck to hurry up and get here, because I'm tired of sitting on the side of the highway here. But I appreciate all y'all that got in here and chatted it up with me. Hope y'all have a good night and a good rest of the week and a good Thanksgiving if I don't talk to any of you again before then. I'm going to do this again, and we're going to get Lee Benson back in here to tell us some old stories here. He's got some fun stuff to talk about, so we're going to have to consider getting him back in here for sure. But y'all be good, and I'm going to close this out, and I will talk to y'all again sometime soon. Thanks for hanging out with me.